Welcome, Web of Wires. I want you to shut up. Don't get me wrong, I still love you guys, but the amount of times I've heard Lego Batman review this and Lego Batman review that is just driving me insane. So here, from the kindness of my heart, just take it. My full and unbiased review of TT Games' Lego Batman on Xbox 360. Like many others with a game console around this time, I grew up with the LEGO games. I played LEGO Rock Band, Harry Potter, Indiana Jones, Star Wars, the whole thing. And it didn't matter what system, I would play these games on the DS Lite if given the opportunity. I remember these games fondly, and I feel a lot of other people did too. It's part of the reason I'm trying to complete the LEGO library of games on the Wii. 3 left. And for some reason my expectations were set really low. I don't know why. I guess it's because the developers mainly make these games designed towards younger audiences, but to be fair, most of the games I play nowadays appeal to that age group, like Mario Maker and Grand Theft Auto. Lego Batman consists of super simple gameplay. Fight some people, break stuff, then build, and then repeat that process until you win. There's a couple different moves you can perform during combat, and there's also some suits Batman and Robin can use to give them different abilities, and for the most part, you're stuck with the basic controls. But the cool thing about this game is that Batman and Robin are only half of what the game has to offer. You can play as the villains. The enemies act completely different. Even though the map was a little more basic, I prefer the villain missions over the hero ones, but I feel it's simply because each new playable character brings something new to the table. The basic mechanics to the game were really fun, but these mechanics don't really get more complicated than a couple button inputs. It is a great game to pick up and play for all ages. Level designs are very straightforward, and most of the puzzles, while simple, still give you that little rush of dopamine that actual Legos do when you finish building something, especially playing co-op, as most of the puzzles involve 2 players. The game is also designed to show you the basics without telling you how they work. It could be little things like platforms you're able to walk on, or big flashy lights on the ground saying, hey, break these items, there's something you can use here. What's funny is that for the most part, I forgot everything was made out of Lego. There's just something that clicks as soon as you get the control of the character that makes it feel like a family game. I think this is because of how cleverly woven in the Legos are to each world. Each location is realistic to a point, with destructible objects being made out of the world's most iconic plastic bricks. When killing someone, each piece of their body kinda just flies around the screen like you broke a little Lego guy. And building, as dumb as it sounds, it fits so well to the brand name and assists the gameplay in ways most licensed games don't do. The music also helps this, as the entire thing is based off of the 1989 Batman soundtrack and its 1992 sequel. It feels like it's pulled straight from the movies as everything just clashes together and gives this perfect symphony of action. I think my favorite track in this game is the Arkham Asylum. It's such a beautiful track as the violin carries every other instrument until the sounds of Joker's laughter and the violence on screen slowly takes over what initially sound like happiness. Which is funny because all the sounds of Legos being built matches perfectly with nearly every track in the game, and holy crap the sound effects. Some of the most iconic pieces of audio in video game history. It's one of those things I can't stop hearing over and over. As you explore through each level, you'll notice collectibles and such you can't really reach or are impossible to get with the tools you currently have. I was confused at first until I was introduced to the free play mode. You can use the studs you collect during gameplay to purchase new characters and rotate out their abilities. So let's say you want to complete a level. You could go in there as a tiny penguin with a gun instead of Batman, and if you needed Batman for a collectible, just switch over to him. This solves the issue of resolving every puzzle you already did, and makes messing around after you beat the game so much more fun. What sucks is that as much as I enjoyed the game, there is a lot of repetitiveness to it. It looks like the new Star Wars Skywalker saga is fixing this with a skill tree and such, but at the moment, the combat can get old at times, and the puzzles all require similar mindsets. It does get a little better towards the second half as each villain has its own unique abilities, but it doesn't fix the fact that Batman and Robin stories feel kinda samey towards the end. I have no interest in 100%ing the game right now, since it's a lot of time spent on a game where there's really only 2 moves during combat, and the same gameplay repeating itself, but I can see why kids really enjoy this game with the extra content and fan service of every franchise they use. On top of the repetition, this game wasn't as polished as I remembered. I got my mech suit stuck at one point, the cutscene started a couple seconds after they were in motion. The music kinda just fades in and out as it pleases, kinda like my videos. It wasn't the most pleasant at times, especially the AI, who would work flawlessly, and then I move a couple pixels, which triggers its ability to forget how to walk. These are just a few things that I encountered on my journey, and even though not many people will notice, I feel I should put it out there as some versions of these games run and look worse than others, which is why I played it on Xbox 360. Yeah, it looks and runs better than the PC version, which was a surprise to hear. So what's my final verdict on the game? I'll say this, I'm glad I played it. My expectations were low and it exceeded what I expected out of a game that's designed around a company who produces plastic bricks. If you enjoy collectathons, LEGO games, or even a franchise it's based off of, I'm sure that you'll have a blast playing it. And for me, I'm glad you guys told me to play it.